30 minutes ago, CNN reported that Robinson made lewd and offensive comments on a pornography website. Specifically, the message board for that. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is joining us live at the Lieutenant Governor's mansion. Laura, just before the story published, Robinson released a video message calling the report, quote, salacious tabloid trash.
Yes, and we should preface this by saying that the Lieutenant Governor denies everything in this story. But the CNN story says Robinson made his comments on a pornographic website called Nude Africa. They say Robinson, or a username linked with Mark Robinson, referred to himself as a black Nazi, praised Hitler, and said he'd like to watch transgender pornography. Robinson was already trailing in the polls, and some Republicans are worried this will just make that worse. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson took to Twitter this afternoon to deny the CNN story before it even airs. He called it a high-tech lynching and claimed it was set up by his Democratic rival, Josh Stein.
Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson. You know my words, you know my character, and you know that I have been completely transparent in this race.
Our latest WRL News poll showed Robinson lagging behind Stein by double digits, especially among women. Even among registered Republicans, only 73% of likely voters said they plan to vote for Robinson. 16% said Stein, 1% other, and 10% weren't sure. Catawba College political scientist Michael Bitzer says party support for a major nominee is usually closer to 90%. Bitzer says Republican leaders have to be concerned about their other candidates.
You know, what we've all been expecting is he is dragging down not just Donald Trump, but now potentially other Republicans on the ballot. Is this an anchor size issue that continues to pull the entire party down?
Now, we should reiterate again that Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson says he is staying in the race for governor. If he were to change his mind, he has only until 11:59 p.m. tonight to withdraw from the race. After that, the Republican Party could choose an alternative candidate, but that name would not appear on the November ballot. By the way, we did ask CNN for a comment on Lieutenant Governor Robinson's comments, and we did not hear back from them yet.
Hey, this is WRAL State Government reporter Will Doran. We've got breaking news in the race for governor. A huge story from CNN just posted on Mark Robinson, comments that he allegedly made in the comment section of a pornographic website. It's leading to calls for him to step down from other Republicans.
Here are this hour's top stories. Take a look at this headline that just broke on WRAL.com. There is growing pressure for Republican candidate for governor Mark Robinson to suspend his campaign from other Republicans. The pressure comes as speculation grows around a CNN report about newly unearthed comments made by Robinson. A spokesperson for his campaign shot down the possibility of Robinson dropping out, saying in a text to WRAL, quote, "It is absolute fiction."
Hey, Amber and Lauren, good afternoon. We have been reading for the last hour through that bombshell report that CNN released this afternoon. It talks a lot about derogatory comments that CNN claims that Robinson made online before he occupied the lieutenant governor's office here on Blunt Street. CNN claims that Robinson made several inflammatory comments on a message board of a pornography site more than a decade ago. The comments allegedly were made under a different username. ABC News has not confirmed this reporting. In them, though, someone who is identified by CNN as Robinson expresses support for reinstating slavery and apparently called himself a black Nazi at one point. CNN reports the comments were made under a username that CNN was able to identify as Robinson by matching a litany of biographical details and a shared email address between the two. In a video released just before the CNN report, Robinson denied he made the comments and claimed the allegations were, quote, salacious tabloid lies.
You all have seen the half-truths and outright lies of Josh Stein on these ads over and over again. And now a story leaked by him to CNN is appearing now. Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson.
And to be clear, Amber and Lauren, ABC News has not verified the things Robinson allegedly wrote under the usernames on that message board from the years of 2008 and 2012.
Mark Robinson right now defiant, vowing to stay in the race and blaming his opponent Josh Stein for leaking that story. But for many, even including some Republicans, the damage may have already been done.
Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson.
Mark Robinson posting on X, defiant, vowing to stay in the race despite calls from some for him to drop out. Even before the new allegations were released this morning, some Republicans gathered with Josh Stein, announcing they would cross party lines, citing Robinson's history of offensive remarks as dangerous for the state in a way that would keep businesses away from North Carolina.
Many that I've talked to are right there. They may not be saying it publicly, I wish they would, but I know how they're going to vote. They're not happy at all about the direction the party is taking.
Stein also defending his decision not to debate Robinson.
Mark Robinson is a fringe candidate. He says that women are not called to lead. He says women have abortions because they can't keep their skirts down. He says some folks need killing. He calls gay people filth and even more despicable insults than that. And I decided it's not my job to give him a platform.
Even before the news, new polling found that while the presidential race in North Carolina was essentially tied, Stein was opening up a wide lead over Robinson. Former Wake County Republican Party Chair Steve Bergstrom says he raised concerns from the beginning over Robinson as a candidate within the party, but he says those concerns were ignored.
But what's going to happen now is that if he drops out, he is going to almost mortally damage the campaign of every single North Carolinian Republican candidate down ballot.
Yeah, and that is the big question right now, the impact on the election. We did just get a statement in from Josh Stein since that story came out. It says, quote, North Carolinians already know Mark Robinson is completely unfit to be governor. Josh remains focused on winning this campaign so that together we can build a safer, stronger North Carolina for everyone. So obviously this news having a major impact on
toward the transgender community. But, you know, obviously behind closed doors, that's the kind of porn he likes to consume. To be fair, he's not the only Republican.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Alex shows you want to show us your phone again? Okay, so to be fair, he might watch the kind of porn where they get arrested. You know, but guys, look, you know how Republicans are. If you don't know by now, the Republican politicians, they're all liars, and they're doing the exact thing that they're warning you about almost every time. So the minute this guy starts to, oh my God, I'm worried about these LGBTQ and the transgenders. Yeah, you're worried that you're not gonna have enough porn about them to watch later tonight. So they hate themselves, so they throw it off to people. Now we got a lot more for you guys, including the Nazi stuff in a second. But I don't want you to think, oh, poor Trump, how could he have known when he thought he was better than Martin Luther King, right? He was already on the record as denying the Holocaust, saying that Michelle Obama is a man. Maybe he wanted her to be, I don't know, right? Like that, maybe he fantasized about that. Now, literally, right? Maybe that was one of the things that got him off. And then and of course, Barack Obama was one of the top ranking demons. He had theories about how the Rothschild family was running the world. So like an obvious glaring anti-Semite well before any of this came out. And Trump endorsed him anyway and said he was better than Martin Luther King.
I would say both, but I mean, Robinson to an even higher degree. Like, I mean, come on. Who says stuff like this? Who like salivates at the notion of slavery coming back, especially as a black man?
Just, I hear you. Even Trump might not be that dumb.
Or like that full of hate. I mean, anyway, all right. So CNN claims that there are even more vile comments that they did not want to publish because of how extreme they are. But they claim that there's a lot of anti-Semitism, a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric, and also homophobia. None of that is surprising considering the appetizer we got here with the disgusting comments that we've read. Now, he denies it, as I mentioned, and he even preempted the report by publishing a video in which he called CNN's journalism a high-tech lynching.
After denying racism all this time, now the minute they catch him doing what they're doing, all of a sudden it's a high-tech lynching. Just like Clarence Thomas. There's no racism. White supremacy is awesome. I don't know what you guys are talking about. You're criticizing me? I'm being lynched. I'm being lynched.
Yeah, it was a reference to Clarence Thomas, actually.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.